Okay, so before going to the session, let me introduce myself. So my name, I think you all know, Sijish, and I have been into industry around past 13 years. And I was working in various roles, like starting career, I worked as a Linux administrator, then into completely scripting, shell scripting, and into Perl, then into Python, then into Oracle DBA, then moved to Hadoop administrator, and now in working in cloud. So I was switching into various technologies throughout my career, and I was using this shell scripting a quite long time. So I think for the past 10 years I was heavily using this shell script. So because see, people are saying, okay, so this is very old technology, or all very old, but still everywhere, even if it's a very latest technology, so they are making use of shell script somewhere in that. Okay, so you can see even in operating system, so you can see lot of scripts, or the people who are learning in Linux, they are also using script, or big data developers, they are using Oracle DBA. So everywhere you can see some portion of shell script, so it's really important also. And learning shell script is relatively simple and straightforward. So only thing is we just need to understand the commands. So what are the commands we are using? Just understand how to use these commands properly. So then write that into a file, that is the shell script. Okay. So learning is mainly learning commands, how to use these various commands, and write that into a file, and at least understand some logic, so that you will get through practice. Okay, so that is what I am saying, the practice is important. So initially you feel like very tough, so relatively tough, or that depends on the people's background, so no worry. So with minimal practice you can overcome that. Okay, so because the most of the people are saying, okay, I don't have that logic, or I don't have the skill. So the skill won't come unless you practice. Okay, because we won't be knowing all those things from the beginning, so everyone is learning only. So first remove that thought from the mind. Okay, so and okay, think, okay, you can do. So only thing is you need to invest some time and to practice. So what is shell script? So Unix shell script is nothing but the list of commands we are writing into a file. Okay, so we are writing all the commands into a file and saving, so that we call as script. So the benefit is we can save the script somewhere and use later. So main part is the reusability. So if you are a Linux administrator, or if you are a Oracle DBA, or a Hadoop administrator, or a developer, so you may need to do some tasks. Okay, so certain tasks are one-time activity, you do that and clear and then go away. But if what happen if you need the same set of commands to execute again after some time? So again you have to follow the same set of commands, execute those commands and do. But instead of that, you can write whatever the command that you used in an order way, and write it into a file and save it somewhere. So whenever you need the second time, you can use that, so that within a second or within a minutes you should be able to execute that task. So that is the beauty of shell script. So learning shell script, as I said, so learning commands and understand some minimal logic. So before going into a shell script, so where you can see this shell prompt? So mainly on Unix flavor machine. So in Unix flavor machine, mainly Linux. Again, in Linux we have Red Hat flavor, we have Ubuntu flavor, and lot of flavor, and we have AIX, or those kind of operating system. We have Solaris is there. We have Mac operating system. So you can see this shell available on all these platforms. And also, since the shell is available, you can write the shell script on all these platform. But if you look into an enterprise level, so mostly this Red Hat or CentOS flavor, around 80% you can see. So all other distributions or all other operating systems are very rare, but the shell is same even if you go to this Linux or AX or Solaris, but the commands may be some slight difference. Okay, so first thing you need is an operating system ready in your machine. So if you are using any operating system, okay, you can use Linux, or if you are already using the Linux operating system, you can just open the terminal and start practicing. So if you have Windows, so first thing you need is you need a virtualization software. So you can use this Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so you can go to the Google and download Oracle VirtualBox. So this is a simple and relatively easy uh, virtualization software. Okay, so virtualization is something like you can create a Linux operating system on your Windows machine. Okay, so what you have to do is just download somewhere you have download option, so download that and okay, source code rebuild by VirtualBox. I think if you are looking for the Windows host, so you have this option. So if you are using the Windows machine, choose this OSX and Linux distribution and Solaris. So choose, I think most of you might be using Windows machine, so click this and so this is downloaded. Okay, I'll give you this link in the chat. You can bookmark this and use. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is just install this virtualization software, and there are other virtualization softwares like VMware Workstation or VMware Player also is there, so you can make use of that also, so which one you are comfortable. Okay, so I think I don't want to download it, I have already downloaded. Once you download it, go ahead and install. Okay, and the next thing you need is you need an operating system. So one thing you can do is you can download this operating system image and then install. So but there is an easy way, like osboxes.org. So here you will get this image for this VirtualBox or VMware. So OS boxes are you will give you the pre-built Linux or pre-installed Linux box images. Okay, so go to this website osboxes.org and somewhere you have option to download. Okay, view images, VM images from here. Okay, so VirtualBox or VMware images. So I have this VirtualBox software, so I am choosing that VirtualBox images. Then if you scroll down, you can see a lot of images that VirtualBox supports. So you have, if you want this operating, so I'm okay with this CentOS. Go ahead and hit, then download this, click this option, and here you can see this operating system images. So basically you can see this CentOS 710. So this is the operating system, or CentOS 7 with LEMP. So I think this is something like customized image, and this is 6. So I'm going and downloading this. So here also we have option to VirtualBox or VMware, and one more tab is with the info tab. So that will give you the details like, so what is the username, what is the password, so root password, etc. So if you have the VMware, then download this, or if you have the VirtualBox, download this. And also you have option to 64 and 32-bit operating system. So I always prefer the 64-bit because if you are trying some other applications also using this image, so it's better use the 64. Just go ahead and hit that, so that will download. So this is also absolutely free, so you need not to pay anything for this. Okay, so that's about the software. Okay, so you can choose. I already downloaded this file, VirtualBox file somewhere. Okay, and you can just hit this and download that. So I don't remember where I did that. Okay, so let me open this. So this is the image which I created. So I think if I choose this properties or settings, I can see where these files are located. I think I need to click that download link again. Something like this, show in folder. So only thing is you just need to unzip that software and open using this VirtualBox. Okay, then what you can choose here is create a new virtual machine and Linux test VM, and write it as something like Red Hat, because we don't have a CentOS image, and existing hard disk file. Okay, so this is the file I downloaded, vvm. This is a file which I downloaded and create. So test VM. So you can just use this. So normal start, if you try, definitely it fails most of the time. Okay, you will be getting an error like this. So better try this detachable start. So that will start this VM. Okay. So only thing is you have to download this file from OSBoxes. Once it's downloaded, unzip that and there will be a file, and use that file when we create an operating system here. Or you can choose any method that you use. I like a normal CD based or installation, so you can choose that. So you can go inside that. So it's showing OSBoxes. Then use the password osboxes.org and then go ahead and hit sign in. So one thing you need to do is open a terminal, right click and open a terminal and get the IP address if config and find the IP address. So here IP address is 10 0 0 10 10.0215. So open a putty 10.0215. Sorry, I think so that is not working, as I have some VPN configured. Let me check that whether the VPN is connected or not. Okay, so I think this is the IP 192.168.122.1. So that IP I need to use. 192 open putty. So this is the software that you use to connect a remote machine. So 192.168 122.1. From the network side something is there, so let me power off this machine and change the network settings. So go to the settings and then go to the network. I choose the bridge network and then go ahead with the headless start. Sorry, I think I need to headless start means it will not pop up, so I can just click here and show. Okay, 192.168.0.105. Okay, open this, open putty, then 192.168.0.105. So I can choose this username, so which we can collect from here. Okay, so there is an option in info, so we have option like what is the password. So root password is osboxes.org. So for OSBoxes also the password is the same. Okay, then let me log in here, root, then osboxes.org. Okay, so now we got the terminal, and this is enough for us to do practice. So you can just increase the font from here, and also I can change the color. So like I said, the basic thing to understand is learn all the commands one by one, and try to write into a file. So that is a shell script. So here, so in Red Hat Flavor machine and all, so you need to know what is the operating system. So if somebody asks what is your operating system, just no need to go and search, just check this file. So Red Hat release, or just use star means anything with the release. So there are all lot of files. Okay, so the star is the common character, so that normally we call in a regular expression or regex. So that I will teach you that in later, but just understand star means it will match with anything. Okay, so if I use cat slash etc star hyphen release means under slash etc there are lot of files that is ending with hyphen release. So if I just use this one, see, you can see this release, so this much files. So just understand the star is something like a wild card we call, and that will match with anything. So anything followed by release. So this is our operating system release. So just to understand this command, etc red hat release, that will give you just operating system, or etc star hyphen release. So star means any set of characters hyphen or followed by hyphen release. So that's all about our operating system and other details. Okay, and like I said, the shell script. So if you go to the shell script history, so there are different types of shell scripts. Okay, I mean the shell. So shell script is something like a we are writing all the commands into a file, so that is called a shell script. So shell, what is a shell? So shell is an interactive prompt. Okay, so where you can type the commands. The one we open, this is the shell, and the one we open here, so this is also a shell. So the shell is something like a application, so where we type all the commands. So from the shell, if you type power off, then it will send the power off request to the system. So our operating system is like that. So we have a hardware, and we have operating system kernel on top of that, and on top of that there are a lot of application running. So the shell is one among this application. Okay, so there are, so we have a hardware. So on top of that hardware we have operating system kernel, on top of that we have application. So MS Paint is an application, or similarly shell is also an application. So why we use the shell? The shell allows user to type the command and execute, and he will be getting the result on the shell prompt. So which is similar to command prompt in Windows. So it send that request to this or information to the kernel. Say for example, if I type power off command from the shell, then the shell will send that request. Maybe the kernel will send back some messages. Okay, system is going to shut down. So if I type ls command, so it will send that request, okay, file system for file listing command to this kernel, then kernel will send back that result and we will be getting that value here. Say that is a simple example, like if I just type ls, so it is listing all the files in a current working directory. So how this work is, so if I type ls, so there will be an executable in backend corresponding to this ls. So that executable will get executed and that communicate with the internal operating system kernel and getting the results here. So that is about the shell. Okay. So the shell is an application that communicate with our operating system kernel and do some tasks. So it can be some high level task or just a printing statement or getting some file information or even a power off also. So what are the different types of shell? So there are mainly two types of shell, Bourne shell and C shell. So these are the two broad categories of shell. So under Bourne shell we have sh, bash, etc. And under C shell uh, and also ksh also here, sorry, ksh, then zsh. Under C shell we have a csh, tcsh and bcsh, etc. Okay. So these are the two main type of shell. Okay, one is a Bourne shell and the second type is C shell. So if you look into the syntax that we use in this type of shell, it's different. So in Bourne shell and in C shell, so there are a lot of difference. But you cannot see this shell is using anywhere in nowadays. Maybe very old days the people are using. So if you look into the very old application or very old uh, uh, tools, you can see this. But nowadays people are not using. So mainly the most of the people are using with this bash. Okay. So the reason is it's a relatively simple and easy to learn and easy to do, troubleshoot, everything is easy. But the syntax, I mean the mainly in the syntax perspective. So C shell follows a C type of syntax, the C programming language. Okay, and under Bourne shell we have sh, bash, ksh and csh, and we have csh. So just understand we have got two types of shell. And how do we check what are the shell supported by our operating system? So there is a file called etc shell, okay, /etc/shells. So this file contain the list of shell that your operating system support. So if you want to see the content inside a file, just use the command cat. Okay, so cat is the command which is used to list the content of a file. So let me clear the screen. Cat /etc shells. So this is basically a file under. So how this file is interpreted is, so we have in Unix we have directory structure, and under /etc, like in Windows, say for example I have a file, say for example C colon del, then under drivers. So if I want to go into this directory, I can do this way directly, or what I can do is I can go to the C, from there del, and then from there drivers, right? So similarly under /etc, so /etc is the directory, or we call, if you compare it with the Windows analogy, so it's a folder. Inside that there is a file called shells. So these are the shell that it support: /bin sh, /bin bash, no login, and sh bash no login, csh and tssh. So no login is the shell. So you can see it's a null kind of thing. I'll explain that later when we discuss about the user's default shell and all. So normally we give this no login for user ID that doesn't require a login or doesn't require a shell to login. There are some type of users, say for example for MySQL application there may be user needed, and in backend the users are created. So that for that users and all you can see no login. So these are the shells that this operating system support. Okay, and also so the most of the I mean some interviews people will ask, okay, how do you check, see what are the shells that your operating system support is. Okay, this doesn't mean what are the total shells available. So this is the shells in available in our operating system. Okay, so how do you check on which shell you are sitting, right? See, I am here. See, I can switch to various shell by executing this one. See, if I just do no login, so saying this account is currently not available. So if I do a sh, yes, I am able to switch. If I do a bash, I am able to switch it. And if I able to csh, yes, this is into csh. If I do css, okay, so what I'm trying to say is you can switch into various shells by just executing that shell executable path. So one question, like in interviews and all, some people will ask, okay, how do you find, or okay, how do you check on which shell you are sitting? Say for example here you are typing some commands, certain like I said, some commands are different or slightly different in one shell to another. So how do you check what is the shell available? So one option is echo $0. That is the one shortcut you can use to find out on which shell you are. Say for example if I go to this sh and then if you execute $0, you can see this is the shell. If I just use the csh, then echo $0 will give you on which shell you prompted. Okay, and like I said, if you log in, okay, let me log in as this user, the OS boxes, then type the password osboxes.org. Then when I log in, I'm getting a shell and also a shell prompt. So let me check what type of shell this is. So this is bash shell. Okay, so this user's default shell is bash. So how do you check this user's default shell? There is one option is just use this execute this one echo $shell. So that will give you this information like what shell, what is the default shell associated to this user. Default shell means whenever this user login, he will be getting a prompt like this. So how do we change this? So that is also easy. So how do we find out the default shell associated with a user? One option is echo $shell. The second is get ent. There is a command called get ent and use a password. Then what is the username? OSBoxes. See, you can see this OSBoxes and his ID, user ID, group ID, and name, and then this is its home directory, and this is the shell that by default associated. I mean, whenever we create the user, so we will provide the default or the shell that is associated with this user. That means whenever this user open a terminal, so he will be getting a bash terminal. So that we can change from the root, or root can change that. So there is a command called user mode. Then what we need, so you can use the man. The first thing you need to understand, there is a command called man in Unix. Okay, so that will give you the man page or manual page. So man, then followed by the command. If you don't know about that particular command, you can make use of this command man, then username. So this is saying like modify user account. So append def, there are a lot of flags available. Lm, then s is something like shell. So what I am going to do is user mode -s. So I'm just changing that to csh. Then what is the user name? OS boxes. Okay. So for OS boxes user, I just changed the default shell to csh. So now if I use this command get ent OS boxes, you can see this is changed. So that means, so whenever I log in to this OS boxes, and if I check the shell associated or shell open, you can see this is csh echo $shell. I can see /bin csh. So that means csh shell is now the default shell for this. So that means, okay, still we have option to switch, but we have to manually switch. So this is the default shell associated, and to finding out default shell, you have a couple of options: get ent password OS boxes, and the last field give you the default shell. And to check the shell which we open, just like I said, use echo $0. So any questions? Okay, you can confirm that in the chat window. If you have any questions, you can add it there. So I'll try to answer. Or else in between, if you feel something you need a clarity, so you can either ping or you can stop me there and ask for a clarification. So any questions? Okay. So Raghu is okay. What about others? So Bashir, Karthik, Manish, Satya, Srini. I think the silence is okay. Okay, fine. Also, you can send me the things like what you are expecting. So if I need to increase the speed or reduce the speed, let me know that also. So because I need to modify the course based on that. So so I mean the main agenda is to give you a complete understanding on the shell script. Also will help you to write your own shell script. So from your side, what I need is to do a lot of practice and hands-on.
Suggest one question.
Yeah.
I'm the Hadoop admin. Actually, can we use this script in the Hadoop admin side
Yes.
in
In
our?
Yes, I mean, so where we are using shell script is again lot of area, even in Hadoop or even if it is in DBA side. So wherever we feel like, so we can add some automation so that we can do this shell script. So basically, say for example, there are some tasks you are daily using. In case of Hadoop, so you just need to monitor some disk space or some cleanup operation, or something that you daily manually doing, that you can write it into a script and schedule somewhere else, somewhere in the cron tab or somewhere. So that will make your life more easier, and you need not to worry about all those things daily, same thing if you are using. So you can avoid that by writing into shell script. So a lot of places where we can use this shell script. So some one option is like if you you are doing some task so that you feel later also you need to do, then you can write that as a script, and whenever you need execute that script. The second is like daily you are doing some task like check this slash tmp is this, and if this size goes more than 30 percentage, then send an email alert or something like that. Or if you have a scratch space like a slash scratch, all the developers dump their file, so you need to find out the top consumers and sending email alert to them. So these kind of opportunities are there. Like this is a very few example, lot of places where you can apply this shell script. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Yesh. And one more thing, Yesh, actually, this is class only weekend class, right? For how many months, actually, how many weekend classes you can take for this class?
I think it will take 1.5 months to 2 months maximum. Uh,
Oh, 2 months?
yeah, maximum 2 months. But if everything finish, and I think 1.5, not it will not take more than 2 months. Maximum 1.5 to 2 months only. So
Okay, only weekend class, right? Saturday, Sunday,
yes,
right?
yes, Saturday, Sunday only.
Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
Yeah,
And these are timing, right? Say
yeah,
8:30 to 10 o'clock.
yes. Okay, so this is about default shell and all, and now we will see a simple script. Okay, uh, so first you can use any editor. Like there are a lot of editors available. So editor is something like Notepad is an editor, or gedit is an editor, vi is an editor, vim is an editor. So I always prefer, or I mean, the personally I feel okay. So this is better to start VI editor, because even if you have this terminal access, that will work. So the graphical based editor will work only from this console. Here you can have option to open that graphical based, sorry, osboxes.org. Okay, so there is an editor called gedit. So that is something like graphical based editor. uh, but so vi is the best editor. I think most of you are already familiar, or if you're not familiar, don't worry. So it's something like you can use for opening a file, creating a file, or modifying an existing file. So whenever so okay, say for example this notepad, you can use it for opening an existing file just for reading, or you can create a new file, or you can modify, uh, etc. Similarly, vi is also one of the editor. So I'm going to first I'm going to create. So the best thing is in Unix, arrange the things and do that is the best way. So just I'm going to create a directory mkdir shell scripting. Okay, and go inside this directory by using cd. It's something like I created a folder shell underscore scripting and went inside this shell underscore scripting directory. So mkdir is a command that is used for creating a folder. So in OS boxes, if I go and here you can see home, where I am in my directory, document desktop. Yeah, here you can see this shell script. So basically just right click a new folder and added a name and just hit. So instead of hitting, so I use the cd command to go inside that directory. Okay, and I'm using the editor vi, then example, okay, vi example 1.sh. So some programming language, so this extension is very important. Okay, say for example in Java and all, so if you leave this extension part, that program won't compile and run. But in shell script, so this is an optional one, so you need not to worry about this extension. So you can add this extension or leave this extension, whichever you feel comfortable. So but as a convention, so we use this .sh. So vi this file name and then .sh. So open that, then hit enter, then press I or insert button. Okay, so insert mode, we will be writing the content in the insert mode. Then the first line hash, then explanation, then use the path to this I mean the shell executable. So this is the executable, somewhere you have seen, right? So this is the path where this bash is located. So if you just use the which bash, you can see slash user bin bash. Also I think in slash bin under slash bin also we have bash, right? So you can use either slash user bin bash or slash bin bash also, wherever most of the time the default is slash bin bash, or if you feel like okay slash user bin bash, so that is also available, you can choose. So this is the first line you write in our script. So hash followed by explanation, then bin bash. So this part we call sh bang or she bang or hash explanation or hash bang. Okay, so this is something like a hash followed by explanation and then path to shell. So this is the first line. So why we are writing this first line? So normally we all know hash is a comment, or if you write hash before any command means it will not execute. Or if you're writing something, okay, hello, this is the sample test program, so we use this hash. But at the first line, if you use the hash followed by explanation, and then that is having a different meaning. So if you use this, whenever it execute, then ask to use this shell to execute. So that is the meaning. Here we are telling the system to use slash bin bash to execute this following code. That is the meaning of this line. So this is called sh bang or she bang or sh bang, and that is the first line. So hash followed by explanation and then the path to the shell. Okay, and you can write any commands. Say for example ls is a command, so and then date is another command, so no need to leave the space also, and echo is another command. Echo is just used to print something on the screen, hello world. Okay, say for example in one of the terminal I will show you that. See, it's printing hello world command. So echo hello world and then hello world is printing. Then date is another command, then ls is another command. So these are the different commands available, and we are executing that or writing that into a file. So that is called shell script. And then escape. Okay, so since this is in insert mode, you need to press this escape key to come out, and then colon WQ. WQ stands for write and then quit. Sometimes this explanation also you can use, then enter. So now if you see, you can see this example 1.sh is created. So if you go inside here, you can see this file example 1.sh is added here. So now how to execute this? So we have to give this execute permission. So chmod plus x example.sh. So I have given this execute permission, and then for executing I can use dot slash example dot dot slash example dot sh, or use the complete path. Okay, so this is the directory where I am in. Okay, under slash home OSBoxes shell scripting. So that is the directory. You can just confirm that directory structure here. Okay, home shell scripting, and then we can use this one, and this way also you can use. What you need is use the complete path and then use that. You can see this ls command is executed, date command is executed, this hello world is also executed. Okay, so this is the one way to execute. When we execute, okay, we are not specifying which shell to use, or we just use the complete path or relative path. So this is the relative path. So dot means in current working directory I have this file, so this is the complete path to this executable, and I am using that to execute. And whatever the contents inside this shell script, so you just open and see. So these things will be executed using this shell. So this is how this shell script work. And once you have added, okay, if this execute permission is not there, we won't be able to execute like this way. Okay, so the first thing you need is just create a virtual machine. Whatever the method you feel comfortable, you can make use of that, and then uh, start writing this shell script. Okay, so let's wind up for now today, because today I think the most of the people are not completely prepared and all. So we'll do it tomorrow also the same time. I'll send you the request. Also so send me your comments. So what are the fields you are expecting? So definitely I will go through this syllabus. Let me open that, and will tell you what are the things, and also we'll have to do a lot of exercise. Variables plugin, then else if loops, variables, functions, advanced, then okay, so this part is very important, so we need to focus in detail, because awk itself is a programming language, a lot of things to do on awks. And also if you feel something you need to add like as part of your day to day, so you need to learn something, let me know that also. I'll along with that, this is the just an overview of the things, but apart from this we will have to cover a lot of other things also that we are using in shell script. So I'll cover all those things. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes. We need a real-time scenario, Suresh, for
yeah,
that.
I'll that we can work. I mean, so when we do the learning, so we will try to do some exercise. So today
Yeah,
you
real-time
just go ahead
scenarios.
and
Where exactly? Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and make sure you have some operating system and terminal ready for your uh, practice. So the next class onwards, so while I do some, so in between you can take some time, so few minutes, and do practice yourself, and uh, then continue. I will take some logical break in between for practice. So but I think today you don't have that machine available, so make sure you have a operating system and connectivity, everything available tomorrow. So then we will start with that hands-on and then practice. So any other thing here to discuss or check?
Yes, yes. Most of the things is awk and SCD using, right?
Uh,
Awk and SCD.
Yes,
Shell.
awk, ACD, cut is there. Lot of things are there. Okay, so I missed lot of things in this here. So, but I'll add that later. But I'll cover
Yeah.
all those things because awk itself has lot of options available. Awk is there, cut is there. Then we have a regular expression thing. So regular expression we use along with sed or awk also. We should know the how that works, and then grep also there. Okay,
Yeah.
and so these kind of things
Yeah.
we will see that in detail.
Yeah. Find us, right?
Yeah, uh, f- yeah. Find is also there. Then what else? I mean, lot of things like this, and uh, I think yeah, and or testing, exporting. Then there are various loop itself. Various ways are there. So I have not written the things in detail here. So, but we will cover those things in detail. Then a trap is there. And I don't know. I have written that. Then signal handling. Then testing and so all those things we will uh, learn in detail. Okay. Yeah, cron
Yes.
tab. Yeah, cron job also. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that because once you have written this script, so you'll have to schedule somewhere. So most of the time you have to do that scheduling part also. So definitely we will look into this org also. And also slowly we'll have to learn all the most of the Unix commands. So because in shell script what we are doing is like most of the things are Unix commands plus some flow control statements like for loop and loops or conditional statements and then text or this processing tool along with the commands. So we will learn all those things in detail and let's wind up for now today and we'll continue tomorrow. So if no other questions, then we will stop for now and we'll continue tomorrow. Thanks, guys.